she's trying to heal. It's healing, speak Chrissy. Oh yeah, Chrissy, Chrissy, Chrissy.
Welcome in, everyone. Welcome back to my channel, Healing Speaks Chrissy. So I literally just got back home from work not too long ago. I am trying my best to make more videos during the week. It's just very hard because I'm tired, I get exhausted, and when I come home I don't want to make a video because I'll be at work like, oh, you know what, make sure you go home and make a video, talk about this can make great content. And when I get home, I don't. I'm just drained. It's getting hot now, like really hot where I live now, and I just don't be in the mood. I make a lot of my videos during the weekend because I don't work during the weekend and it's easier. But I may not make any sense during this video. I may stumble, stutter, because I'm tired and I'm exhausted, but I want to make today's video and get it out the way. But let's get into it. So what inspired today's video, as you can see, I now have a video intro, and I hope you guys like my video intro. So I now have a very beautiful video intro for my videos that I will be playing at the beginning. And so as I was gathering photos for the video intro, I was stumbling, I was looking at some photos of me in my 20s. Now, 2 of those photos are from me literally just last year, nice and glammed up. 2 of them are from me, like, yes, literally just last year. And then there's 2 others that are from my 20s. And as I was looking at the pictures, I was like, you know what? I remember this time. I was just doing a lot of reminiscing. And then I thought about my 20s. Now, let me just say this. I do not regret my 20s. I don't. I was not diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, BPD, yet. But a lot of the things I was doing in my 20s were reckless. And that's a type of splitting, by the way. It's a splitting. Reckless behavior is a splitting. And I don't regret my 20s. Let me say this. I do not regret my 20s because the things I was doing was making me happy. That's why we're doing those reckless behaviors, right? We're doing those reckless behaviors because it makes you happy. It makes you feel good. You're not thinking about the negative things that can happen if you're doing this and doing that. You're not thinking about that. You're just like, you know what? This is making me happy and I want to do it again. It was almost like an addiction. Like, oh, I can't wait to go out on Saturday. Saturday was my day to go out. If I did not go out on a Saturday for whatever reason, my work week was terrible. If I did not go out on Saturday, I showed up to work I had a terrible week. I had to go. Saturday was reserved. I reserved Saturday for me. I went out. I was a night owl. I did a lot of night owl things like partying, going to the club. I like the club scenery. Okay, if the club is not you, like, oh, she was a clubber. Okay, some people don't like the club scene, but that was me. Seeing people dancing and having great time to music. I absolutely loved the club scene. Now, I did not do party, drugs. No, that was not one of my reckless behaviors. Okay, so if that's what you're thinking, like, oh, I wonder if she did party, drugs. No, I didn't do that. There's other things I did I won't share. Like, what's your reckless behavior? I'm not going to share because I'm not comfortable sharing, but it wasn't that. I just felt like I wanted to get that out the way in case anybody was thinking that's what I was doing. No, but it was still reckless and it was still unhealthy to me. But like I said, it made me happy. It was like an addiction of going out every Saturday because the reckless behavior it made me feel good at that moment. And I needed it because work is stressful. So I used Saturday to unwind that stress, to release that stress. I used Saturday to release my stress. And yes, some of it was negative. Some of it was positive. Not all the time was negative, but I know I have some reckless behavior on Saturdays. Okay. Now I can't say, it's not to say that you sure you don't regret some of that stuff. Yeah, I know I can say, you know, I can regret this, and I can regret that one. I can regret that one too, but I'm not going to do it because, like I said, this stuff was making me happy. If you don't have BPD, you're probably watching this like, why would you like or love some of your reckless stuff? I know it makes no sense to you, huh? You don't have BPD, that's why. If you have BPD, you wouldn't know what I mean when you say, like, I loved the reckless things I was doing because it was making me feel good at that moment. Of course, we're supposed to, like, when we're having these kind of urges, we're supposed to, like, do something as positive as we can. But I wasn't diagnosed with anything in my 20s. I didn't have any diagnosis, nothing at all. Let me pause the video quickly here to make some corrections. So I said I was not diagnosed with anything in my 20s. Actually, I was diagnosed in my 20s. However, what I meant to say was during the time of my reckless behavior, I was not diagnosed with anything yet. When I was going out to the club and to, doing some partying, I was not diagnosed with anything yet until after the club life and the partying kind of died down. That is when I started getting some diagnosis. However, I was not diagnosed with BPD yet. At that time, when I was getting my diagnosis in the beginning, it was anxiety, like major depressive disorder with the psychosis and some other diagnosis as well, but not BPD yet. That did not happen until later on. I got my BPD diagnosed once I moved to Northern California. So I just wanted to pause the video and make some corrections. But yes, I was diagnosed in my 20s, just later on in my 20s. But during the time I was doing all the reckless behavior, I was not diagnosed yet. I knew something was wrong with me here. I knew something was wrong. When I was doing these things, like, man, something got to be wrong with me. When I was doing all these things, I knew something was wrong with me. But you know what? Like I said, I don't care. It was making me happy. It was reckless, but this reckless behavior was making me happy, and I don't regret it. I'm sorry, I don't regret it. I'm not going to lie to you all. I am not going to say that the stuff that I was doing was going to make me say, oh my God. I'm thinking back like, oh my goodness, why did I do that? Oh, I wish I'd never, I can't think about that time because I'm thinking about this. I don't have that when I reminisce. I don't. Now, I live in Northern California now. As soon as I moved, all of that partying, Saturday, going out stuff ended immediately. A lot of that's because my anxiety. But when I moved, that's when I started getting my diagnosis and stuff. A lot of that stuff stopped because my anxiety, being in a new city and stuff like that. So all of that stopped. But in Southern California, oh yeah, had a lot of fun. I did. What about you? Do you regret your things that you did in your 20s or your 30s or whatever, how old you are, and you're going back to your 40s, your 30s, or your 20s? Do you regret anything? If you got borderline personality disorder and you did, some splitting that caused some reckless behavior, do you regret it? Or do you regret everything? Some things that you know what? There are some things that I did do that I wish I never did. Let me know. Comment below. I would love to hear from you. And if there's some things that you did that you regret. But for me, no, not at all. And it's, like I said, it sounds crazy. And a lot of that too is because of depression. Like I said, I wasn't diagnosed with anything yet, but a lot of that ties down to depression too. When I was doing things in my depressive state, like I said, it was making me happy. That's one of the reasons why I couldn't see it as, oh no, don't do that, because that's going to be unhealthy to you. When you're depressed like that, sometimes you don't care. How do they say it? It's like a negative coping mechanism. There you go. I had a lot of unhealthy coping mechanisms that I'm just so used to. I'm so used to, that was my coping skill. My coping skills, because I have MDD, major depressive disorder, I have a lot of negative coping skills, mechanisms. I did. I can't say I do. I can still talk in present tense. And it's like my norm. It was my norm. Hurting, I don't want to say, how can I say this without, I got to make sure I be careful how I word things. But when I know I'll just say this, making me feel bad, making myself feel bad. I'll just word it like that. Making myself feel bad was a norm. Feeling bad was my norm. Feeling bad, making myself feel bad made me feel good. Because I'm so used to feeling bad for so many years. It's what I'm used to. Feeling bad, making myself feel bad is what I'm used to. And I think that's why I don't regret my 20s. Because I'm thinking about, even today, I'm thinking about at that moment, those reckless behaviors was making me happy. Of course, temporarily, because I'm right back at work, I'm just back to being depressed and sad and anxiety. And of course, my undiagnosed BPD. All of that stuff was right back. And then here comes Saturday. Yes, Saturday's here. Time to feel better. And then back to the week. It was like a cycle, a vicious cycle. Okay, it was a vicious cycle. But when you have been making yourself feel bad for so many years, it's almost like you can't realize that it's actually unhealthy, because it's what you're used to, is your norm. That coping, you gotta, in DBT, they try to teach you positive coping mechanism, positive things. Like if you're having these urges, stop doing the negative behaviors and do the positive behaviors. This is why it's so important to be in DBT if you have borderline personality disorder. Get in DBT because of those skills. I didn't have any skills in my 20s. I wasn't thinking about DBT skills and stuff because I was, number one, not even diagnosed yet. So I was just doing those things thinking it was because it's my norm. Doing reckless stuff was my norm. And like I said, and it's I know it can be interesting for some to hear, even as of today, like, you don't regret any of that. Maybe, like I said, I can say I regret that, I can regret this, I can regret that, but 9 out of 10, I'm still leaning towards I don't regret my 20s. I had fun. And if I think about my 20s, every time I think about them, I'm smiling like this. You know how you reminisce and you do that? Yeah, it makes me get that smile, and you look up into the air and you're just like that, and you're like, yeah, I remember that, I remember that. And that's what inspired today's video, because I was looking for pictures for my video intro, and I was looking at a lot of my pictures from the 20s, glammed up, looking nice and stuff like that, makeup and the lashes and all that is, you know, wearing nice outfits. It took me back. But I don't regret my 20s. I don't. I had fun. I'm going to be a very old woman sitting in a rocking chair saying that my 20s was a blast. Now, if you had a terrible past because of your splitting and you did terrible reckless things that you regret, I apologize. I'm sorry. I know everybody's reckless experience is different. Some people may say, oh no, I regret mine. You're lucky you don't regret your 20s, but my 20s or my 30s or my 40s, whatever your time period for you is. But you know, I apologize if it was if your reckless behavior was just, you wish you regretted and you wish you never did it. And I'm sorry, you know, if that was your experience with your reckless behavior because of the BPD. But for me, no. I to be honest, I wish I could do it again. If I was still living in Southern California, I probably would have went a little more longer in my 20s of doing that stuff. But I'm much older now, but I moved. I'm in a more boring city. So my nightlife is pretty much done. My anxiety is way too high now for nightlife. I'm not a night owl anymore. I'm in bed, actually. I'm trying to go to bed early, which I'm going to make a video about why I go to bed so early now. I used to have insomnia, which is now solved. Or that sounds weird. My insomnia is solved. Why did that sound strange? But I'll make that a whole nother video about if you're suffering with sleep insomnia, if you're interested in that, if you're having sleep troubles. I would love to share you through what I do, because I go to bed as early as almost 8:30 now, p.m., 9 o'clock. I'm like, I can't make it. But I used to go to bed like late, like 6 a.m. I used to stay up. I had insomnia. Now I don't. I'm losing my voice for some odd reason. It sounds like I'm losing my voice, but that is all that I have for you guys. I want to hear from you. Do you regret anything that you did? You know, your splitting, your unhealthy splitting, your reckless behavior. I think it's called compulsive or something like that. Or I don't have my notes. But comment below. Do you regret anything that you did in your past? And you don't have to go into details. Just say, oh no, there's some things I regret. I wish I never did. BPD is ruined a lot of things for me. Let me know. But like I said, for me, for Chrissy, for me, I don't regret my 20s. All right, you guys, that's all I have for you. If you made it this far, like this video. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I think I did gain 1 new subscriber. So whoever you are, welcome to my channel, whoever you are. And if you're returning, you are my fam. If I get used to seeing the same people in my comment section, boom, I consider you in my fam. You are now like my family. If I see the same people returning to my channel, giving me feedback, you know, giving me comments, you are my fam. And I love you all for that. And but like I said, if you're new, welcome. Make sure you hit the bell though, so that you know when I upload a new video. And I'm gonna try to upload more during the week. Just bear with me. It's very hard. I get tired and exhausted. I did have some depression today at work, but it only lasted about maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes. I had a lot of depression. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing great. It's Wednesday, it's the middle of the week, so hopefully your week is going great so far. And I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.